Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to signing day, early signing day 2020, which means the football season is actually supposed to be over and just the bowls are left to go. But we still have a regular season game and a bowl game to go. So it's like bonus football. It's the best thing 2020 has given us, period. But just full disclosure, I'm going to get into this podcast clear. It's like 6:30 in the morning Central Time here. So not many names have come in. So we're going to treat the commit list it's gospel. We're not going to get into all the drama. We're not going to do the, prediction game necessarily. We're not going to jump into the game that allowed the other sites to go like 1-25 over the last couple years. Remember, whenever they pick, they're going to pick above their station because they need you to be upset because we missed on somebody. They don't want you to be happy. It's part of their business model. Keep you angry, keep you pissed off. So it's real easy, just like that, for it to hit. So understand that on early signing day, enjoy it. Pay attention and learn about who we've got, not who we missed on. That's the most important advice I could give to you right now. And that's coming from somebody that worked at Rivals for a decade and on the recruiting side at Ole Miss for 3 years. The best way to survive this is basically to just concentrate on what you have. Do the bird in the hand thing. But today it could be a fairly decent day. 3 weeks ago we were hovering around number 75 in the country and looking up 20 spots at Vanderbilt. And everybody's like, oh, they're struggling recruiting. How are we going to do it? Because they're struggling recruiting. Now, it's like making a judgment on a Super Bowl, like when you're ahead in the fourth quarter, 28-3, and you're like, wow, the Atlanta Falcons are just really putting it to the Patriots right now. This is amazing. And then the actual Super Bowl, the Patriots end up winning. You got to be careful about those pre-pissed off things. I realize it's their business model and it's real easy to manipulate you. I get that. There's some people that are just easy to manipulate. But there's a reason over the last 2 signing days they've gone 1-25, and it has nothing to do with the recruiting staff. It has everything to do with the expectation set. And the reaction to that expectation. Who set that expectation? It wasn't a coach. You got to be careful. You see, with these sites like that, you don't have an assignment editor. And those are the guys that chooses what gets covered. They're not attached to the money, and they usually have no contact with the money. But that's how that works. But if you have a situation where people are choosing what to cover at the same time as trying to sell advertising and making the money, there's no way for that not to affect, especially whenever your revenue is based off of subscriptions. So naturally, you cover your stories that make you money. Now, it's not in the best interest of the program, and it's not in the best interest of the fans. I mean, that's clear. It's in the best interest of one person, and they are controlling the narrative of what happened. So you just have to be careful and be skeptical of every word they tell you, because you just can't take their word for it. Because of their business model, they lack credibility because it's the easiest bias to get to. So if you believe them and they present it as fact, I mean, you're falling right into their hands. But that's the way really that works. There was a nice tweet from the Florida Gators talking about all the toxic reporting and having to keep people pissed off in order to make money. It's just part of their business model. I think I retweeted it on Twitter. I'll give you the address in a second. It looks like we have too little time for me to go through my spiel right now, so I'll do it after the break. But I just want you to realize it. Enjoy today. Take it in. Today is going to be a fantastic day. But don't focus on who's not coming today. They want you to focus on who's not coming because then you'll be pissed off and it'll drive content. This whole grievance climate that's around the country, it's all because of that. Who would have thought that the death of the newspaper as primary news source would lead to such chaos in the American system? But it's happened. People charging for content has happened. That's the reason we're always going to provide access here. That's kind of what we do. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Come back. We're going to talk a little J.J. Henry, committed last night, right here on the POMcast. Stick around.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at active4life.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with good information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA helped him and my mom get the home they'd always wanted. My grandpa's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one of his battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I followed in their footsteps and served with pride. And now that I'm out of the military, the GI Bill's helping me with school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA has served us all.
Yeah, I just like listening to the bumper music. pretty good, isn't it? Kind of bluesy. Let's do it. There we go. There we go. Then the surfer tones come in. Now, I will say this about Ole Miss recruiting class. The most excited I am for any player in the class. There's people that are going to go after high-ranked guys, but there's 2 real players that I am just really excited for. And one of them's a 3-star. Now, remember, we've done it's not the recruiting services, the rankings don't matter. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they rank to one system. And a player that is a good running back for an I formation will not be good for the spread, would not be good for the wishbone or the flex bone or whatever they're calling it now. That isn't being taken into account because they can't do that. That would require 3 sets of rankings. So it just has to pick. So these rankings aren't necessarily a reflection of reality when it comes to recruiting. It's not. System is everything. Fit is everything. If you go to a team that you're not a fit for, like Troy Aikman going to Oklahoma, I love that you used that example back in the day, to run the wishbone. They're not going to use you. You're not going to be as successful as after Troy Aikman transferred to UCLA. System is everything. You have to go to a place that maximizes what you do. Period. Winning and all that other stuff, it's all window dressing. It's not real. It's going to slow your ascent to the NFL and lower your draft stock. That's what winning and all that does. You need to go somewhere that is going to maximize what you do. The NFL is going to find you wherever you are. With technology that is out there, there's literally no place you can go and hide from the NFL. System is everything. Let's do this house cleaning real quick. You can follow us on Twitter at @TheStephenWillis or at Old Positively. Catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. You can join our Facebook group as well at Positively Ole Miss. We're on YouTube as well at Positively Ole Miss. Subscribe to the channel, please, and hit the bell because that'll help you in the next few months when we start streaming and moving to video. And, of course, we're on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. If audio is your bag, and judging by the numbers, it pretty much is. You can catch us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. So it's a good avenue to take in the podcast while we're doing this now. Also, if you could leave us a rating, leave us a 5-star rating. Doesn't matter what you say, just do that. It'll help us whenever other people search for Ole Miss to show up in the algorithm. So if you want other people to do it, you can leave a rating on the podcast in whatever podcast form, preferably Apple Podcast. So thank you very much for tuning in today. Today's early signing day. As you can imagine, I am broadcasting really early. I do apologize for that, but it can't be helped. And Talik Robbins, it looks like, is in. J.J. Hawkins is in. Those are the only 2 that have come in. With the Ole Miss has a thing. It's like ticket to the lane train, and it looks like a ticket, and it's like Talik Robbins, which I think you can sign starting at 6 o'clock in the whatever time zone you're in. So the Central players can't really start, or 7 o'clock maybe. I think it's 7 o'clock. The Central players can't start for another few minutes. So we're kind of stuck in the Eastern time zone at the time being. But Talik Robbins, Philadelphia to Ole Miss, and J.J. Hawkins. Let's see. He's from Lawrenceville, Georgia, so that's the Eastern time zone as well. So they were able to do that. 2 are in, and I think we'll take the rest. I'm going to pick out 2 players that I'm insanely looking forward to, and I'm going to proceed as if they're going to sign as usual at Ole Miss because, I'm not going to jump into the drama stuff too much. The first one is J.J. Henry. He is a wide receiver that goes out of McKinney, Texas. He goes to McKinney North. And he's a slot receiver. He's a true slot receiver. But he's not an Elijah Moore slot receiver. People are going to make that connection because Elijah Moore is out there putting up huge numbers. Elijah Moore is a phone booth player. And people need to realize that. But he's also probably a 4.6 player, 4.5 player. He's quicker than he is fast. Now that works and everything because he always gets open. He's an elite route runner, and that helps him. Immensely in this league because he's doing technical stuff that he's not really supposed to learn until the next level. And now that he's there, just finish out. But I'm saying J.J. Henry is not an Elijah Moore type player. Everybody's like, well, Steve, what type of player is he? Well, J.J. Henry is a Jalen Waddle type slot, not an Elijah Moore type slot. And there is a difference. Now, quickness, there's a point of, diminishing returns when it comes to quickness in football. You can only be so quick to where it works. Now, a lot of the stuff that happens, there's people that can just be made to look silly. And we like that. But as far as real life application, there's a limit to quickness. There just is. Jalen Waddle is more, or not Jalen, J.J. Henry, see what I did there, is more fast than he is quick. Now, he's really good on double moves, and where he was in high school, his ranking probably has dropped down because they used him some on the outside. And the outside receiver is a different type of dude. It's a different skill set. It just is. They might set him outside to where he can do stuff and plant a double move to shift the safeties over and the defense over and create a true one-on-one, like Ole Miss did with Elijah Moore for the 3rd touchdown against Vanderbilt. Go back and watch that. It was a fantastic play call and formation. It's just top shelf coaching. But this guy is more of a Jalen Waddle. He just is. He's exciting. He's probably the most exciting player I have dealt with or seen or felt about in an Ole Miss recruiting class since Dexter McCluster. Now, I'm not calling him Dexter McCluster, but that's the same feeling I got watching his film. Now, if you want to watch it, go to Huddle. Search J.J. Henry Huddle. I'm thinking about putting the link in the description below. And just give him a look and see what's happening. You can see Jalen Waddle just oozing off the screen. And it's just dangerous, honestly. And Braylon Brown coming to the outside, he's an outside receiver, but in a normal year, he'd have a chance to move up to be a 5-star. That's how good he is. We did a recruiting video way back when, and whenever Braylon Brown committed, about him, and you're just impressed. And then you take McLean at IMG, if you can get him, all of a sudden your outside receivers and the inside receiver is set for a generation. And Luke Altmaier set up at quarterback. the tight end, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. I can't remember his name. The passing game is set up for a full cycle. And with them dropping McCallan Pounders last night, that tells you their numbers are pretty tight. They're expecting a big close today. And they wanted flexibility with the numbers to be able to pounce. It looks like Pounders are going to end up in Memphis, by the way. Just a heads up. But, yeah, you can see how it's all flowing. But go back and watch J.J. Henry, his highlights, both in the slot and out wide. McKinney North did play him out wide just because apparently they like to run go routes out wide, but that's why they did that. But, yeah, he's still quick. Now, I'm not calling him not quick. I'm just saying he's fast, too. He's not as quick as Elijah, but he's faster than Elijah. And there is a point of quickness that, there's only so much you need. And I'm just very excited about J.J. Henry. He's excited me more than pretty much anybody that Ole Miss has signed. Yes, I am aware of the 5 stars back in 2013, 2016, since Dexter McCluster. Anyway, let's come back and wrap it up. You can find out who else I'm just really excited about right after this. Stick around.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
POMcast, Steve Willis, right here on Positively Ole Miss. Thank you again for listening. In this last segment, I'm going to talk about Tysheem Johnson. He's the other guy I'm impressed with. One on both sides of the ball that I'm just watching and just kind of just ready. He reminds me a little bit of the Honey Badger. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a good place for the music to cut out. I'm serious. He reminds me a little bit of the Honey Badger. He's a super athlete. And if he comes down here with confidence, he can actually make plays that can help that defense and fill a role that they do not currently have. Depending on how physical he is, and it does depend on how physical he is. You don't want a guy that doesn't want to tackle like Derek Stingley has been this year for LSU, because he was the number 1 player in the country, but he's just a liability against running teams and passing teams just because he doesn't want to tackle. But Tysheem Johnson, again, look up his highlights on Huddle. They're in the middle of, I think, not playing this season because they're up in Philadelphia. He's from the same town as Talik Robbins. But he's a guy that is always around the ball. That is his shtick. And you can put him back at safety Now, he's not going to play free safety because he doesn't necessarily have that skill set, and you want him near the line of scrimmage. So he might end up, you might have a situation next season where he is playing star. Tysheem Johnson, Otis Reese is at strong safety, and Jacob Springer is at free safety. That is a possibility. And if you do that, you have an active group. You got people that love contact. Now, we have to see if Tysheem translates that way from high school to college. But I will say, with the alpha dogs that he has on that side of the ball, I mean, you almost have to join along. But, you know, you could put Tysheem Johnson at running back and he'd run for 1,200 yards. He's that good of an athlete. But we really like him at wide receiver. I mean, defensive back, sorry. I just had a thing come up on my screen that said wide receiver. And it was like, hey, see and spell. And, yeah. No other players have come in, but they're doing a really cool thing. Follow Ole Miss football on Twitter to get updates for signing day. They're using the train ticket. It's kind of a cool thing. But the videos and everything they're doing is very fun related. Everybody having fun. And it's an excellent recruiting pitch and a differentiator against people that really can't do that. When it comes to social media, nobody brands himself like Lane does. Nobody. Not one. But they have a chance to really make some noise in recruiting today. But I think they will end up somewhere in the 18 to 25 range. We're looking at a top 25 class, which, like I said, 3 weeks ago, that was hard to imagine because, you know, they're sitting down at 75. Everybody is making fun of them. I think Brad Logan come out about the disaster that was Ole Miss recruiting in July or June. It's the equivalent of making a comment about a game you're losing in the second quarter. I mean, that's what that is. Yeah. If according to their logic, the Atlanta Falcons are Super Bowl champions. They've won a Super Bowl before. That just doesn't make sense, does it? But it is early signing day. Enjoy today. Focus on the wins. Focus on the ones wearing the red and blue next year. They're the ones that are coming aboard for this ride. We have times that people are going to commit, but it's going to be basically an all-day thing. And this is all orchestrated too, by the way. People need to realize that. This is going to be all orchestrated too. Because Lane Kiffin is already building towards February. Trying to get him to sign now, but build towards February. And try and get a couple of big fish in February. Namely, Taiwan Malone. But there's a chance that the defensive tackle position, strong side defensive end, is in great shape moving forward. The defensive backfield's in great shape moving forward. We need a linebacker or two. We need to see if that gets filled. The offensive line, they were so young, they didn't have to go on them too much, but they got about 4 players. And then, like I said, Luke Altmaier, quarterback, receiver J.J. Henry, Brandon Buckhalter, Braylon Brown, that's 3. Hudson something. I can't remember his last name. I'm sorry about this. I need to look at that real quick, just a second, because he deserves to have his name said correctly. Let's see. The podcast is ending. Come on, internet. Hudson Wolf. Hudson Wolf is the tight end. Anyway, have a great early signing day. Enjoy this day in your own way. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Have a good day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Hotty toddy.